Trinidad and Tobago, my fellow citizens, tomorrow on May 1st, 2021, the National Disaster Prevention and Preparedness Month, NDPPM, will commence. You may recall that last year, at the height of the pandemic, the Cabinet, under the astute leadership of the Prime Minister, Dr. the Honorable Keith Christopher Rowley, had the foresight to agree to the proposal to establish May as the month for such activities. The purpose of the NDPPM is to create greater awareness of the various hazards our country faces and to engender an all-of-society approach to increasing disaster readiness and resilience. While disaster prevention and preparedness are year-round activities, May was selected to develop in our citizenry and institutions an increased level of attentiveness, disaster preparation and readiness before the commencement of the Atlantic hurricane season, which commences on June 1st and ends on November the 30th. Noteworthy to mention is the fact that the hurricane season, which occurs almost simultaneously with our wet season, is historically the period that Trinidad and Tobago experiences the greatest disaster-related damage and destruction. The NDPPM is therefore an innovation on our national disaster risk reduction and management landscape. It is aligned to the national, regional, and international strategic priorities. At the national level, the proposal supports themes 1 and 5 respectively of the Vision 2030 National Development Strategy. Theme 1 identifies putting people first, nurturing our greatest asset, while Theme 5 is placing the environment at the center of social and economic development. At the regional level, the proposal advances CARICOM's strategic priority 3, building environmental resilience, as well as all 4 priorities of the United Nations Sendai Framework for Disaster Risk Reduction, which Cabinet agreed to adopt in December 2019. These priorities are understanding disaster risk, strengthening disaster risk governance to manage disaster risk, investing in disaster risk reduction for resilience, and enhancing disaster preparedness for effective response and to build back better in recovery, rehabilitation, and reconstruction. This year, the National Disaster Prevention and Preparedness Month's theme is aptly titled, Disaster Preparedness Starts with You. Let's prepare together. It is a national call to action. It places emphasis on the role of each and every individual, community, and organization must play to put our nation on the pathway to disaster readiness and resilience. Guided by this overarching theme, in each week of May, emphasis will be placed on developing the knowledge and capacity of a different segment of the national community. For example, in week 1, emphasis will be placed on the individual and family unit, the foundations of our society. In week 2, civil society organizations. In week 3, communities. And in week 4, the public and private sectors, international and regional bodies, and strengthening the capacity of the southern sub-regional focal point of which Trinidad and Tobago is partnered with Grenada, Guyana, and Suriname. While mindful of the constraints brought about by the COVID-19 pandemic, much time, thought, and effort have been expended in designing interactive sessions, competitions, webinars, and demonstrations to make this month's activities beneficial to you. Please access the information that is placed at your disposal on social media platforms, the electronic and print media, and also on the ODPM's website. My fellow citizens, I cannot overemphasize enough how important your participation in this upcoming month of activities must be. As recently as 3 weeks ago, we witnessed the challenges faced by our neighbors in St. Vincent and the Grenadines as a result of the violent eruptions of the La Soufrière volcano. Our thoughts and prayers must continue to be with the government and people of that country. Permit me also to take this opportunity to thank you, the citizens of Trinidad and Tobago, once again for your overwhelming response to our Prime Minister's clarion call for support to St. Vincent and the Grenadines. In particular, I commend the leadership of the Trinidad and Tobago Defense Force, which promptly mobilized and deployed some 51 personnel to that island to serve with pride, a sense of duty, and brotherhood. They are expected to return home tomorrow. In closing, I wish to remind the national community of the prediction that we have already received from the weather scientists that we are to expect an above-average hurricane season. As Minister of National Security, I cannot impress upon you enough to use this opportunity as provided by the National Disaster Prevention and Preparedness Month to prepare for this upcoming season and for the longer term. My sincere thanks goes out to members of the NDPPM committee, the various public and private sector agencies, and our civil society organizations that have all joined in to support this important initiative. I also thank the ODPM for the guiding hand in developing this process to its point of execution, particularly in light of the fact that they were doing so alongside their routine and daily duties, which simultaneously had to be coordinated with the relief effort to assist the disaster-stricken islands of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Fellow citizens, I thank you for the courtesy of your attention. May we all have an enlightening and successful National Disaster Prevention and Preparedness Month. May God continue to richly bless you all, and may God bless our nation. I thank you.